This is Andrew Tate. If you're unfamiliar, he's a misogynist to the core, absolutely terrible person. He got super famous not too long ago. He actually outpaced Donald Trump in number of times his name was searched on Google back in, I think, like July 2022 or something like that. Got like giga famous, like overnight practically. He's all over TikTok. He's all over YouTube Shorts, all over everything. Let me just give you a little introduction to him if you're unfamiliar. This is my introduction to the guy, so you'll know exactly why I have a problem with him in a second.
If you ever see a man who's talking about food, oh, I had this amazing steak at this one restaurant. This steak is so amazing. He's broke. He's a brokey. Because if the steak was so amazing, he'd eat it every day.
Oh, my God. It's so cringy. Everything about it is cringy and ridiculous.
It was so amazing, he'd eat every day. And he'd eat every day to the point where he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. But he doesn't do that because he can't afford it.
Oh, okay. I could afford to eat my favorite food, which is Crock Bites, as much as I want. I don't because I understand moderation.
You understand?
No, I don't understand.
So whenever you see anyone talking about bragging about the meal they cooked or this ingredient they got or that steak they had, just do, because people do that to me all the time. And I'm just sitting there going, you're poor. Interesting. Oh, you're broke. Yes, okay. Oh, you went on your birthday and had that steak. Oh, wow. Once a year. Broke talk. Brokies. Real G's. Every day. Minor. Ain't a thing.
He unironically uses the term brokey. So anyways, that's Andrew Tate. He's absolutely terrible. He's most famous for his misogyny. He's extremely misogynistic. If you haven't seen the others, don't sweat it. This stands independently of the rest. You don't have to see the others to understand what's happening here. But up to this point, he's been having a debate with, or it's not even a debate, it's like a conversation with who? I don't know. They're not even feminists. Like, usually you can say this debate's on feminism against anti-feminists versus feminists or whatever else. You can't even say that here because these people like agree with him on practically everything. Anyways, yeah, he is having I guess conversation with these like 4 or 5 women here, or maybe it's like 6 of them, I don't know. And they're just kind of stroking each other off basically the entire time. So yeah, I'll tell you what, why don't we jump into it, see what he has to say for himself. It's bound to be cringy. It has been up to this point.
I don't think any man really ever wants to get married. I think that women convince him to get married. And I think that any woman who is genuinely serious about convincing her man to get married could do it. I don't think, in the modern world at least, men wake up and go, can't wait to get married. But what they do is they get a chick who's so good and ticks so many boxes and makes them so happy. And she'll sit there and say, you know what?
Does he know why people get married in the first place? It's not marriage is not just valuable because it's an expression of your love. Marriage is, it comes with tax benefits, comes with insurance benefits, comes with all kinds of stuff. Very, very important things. Like if you die and you weren't like included in a pre-existing contract, your money is just kind of in limbo. Your wife will get your retirement funds and all kinds of stuff if you are married when you die. He doesn't seem to like understand absolutely anything at all.
It would mean the world to me. Please. And he'll go, oh, for fuck's sake. All right then. And that's what happens. So I still think you can convince 99.9% of men to marry you. The point I was making is the society isn't convincing the man to marry you. It's not like it used to be where the man believed he had to be married. Society's done the opposite. So it's your job as a woman to make it clear to him that it is worthwhile. Once again, how would you convince a man it's worthwhile for him to say, that's my wife? Status. That's how you do it. This is a misunderstood hack to men as a whole, is status.
Not really. I couldn't possibly care less about status, whatever that means. I don't understand what he's even going on about right now, first of all. And second, notice how he keeps saying he's kind of switching between status, and status. Have you noticed that? Sometimes he'll say status, and sometimes he'll say status or status. It's just cringy and terrible because it's obviously him trying desperately to fake an accent right now.
If you can convince that man, but by marrying you, his status will increase amongst his peers. he's going to do it. And for anyone out here who disagrees with me, the things men do for status, let's actually analyze how baseline men are. What is status? Status is respect, right? Men kill over respect. Gangs kill each other over respect. A man will smash another man's face in for insulting him. We will die for respect and status. You tell me we won't get married?
You hear that status a minute ago and status just now.
Die for we'll go to the front line of a war, and the only reason we don't walk away and abandon our post as artillery shells rain is because we're afraid of being mocked for being a coward.
No, that is not why people don't run away in wars or whatever. It's not about like being afraid of being a coward or something. I mean, that probably plays some part in it. The reason you're there in the first place is to protect your country or whatever thing, or maybe because you're being forced to be there. Such a thing as war slaves. Like, that's actually reasonably common even in today's society. This whole thing is completely made up, all of it. Like, he has no idea what he's talking about right now.
We'll die for status. So status is what it's all about. It's what it's always been about. If you wanted a man to marry you, status. And it's the same thing with nearly anything you want to do with a man. I don't know anything about your personal life. I'll be honest, I don't know, right? But I'll tell you this now. If this dude, this NBA player, believed that he would be higher respected amongst his peers and amongst society for taking care of you properly, that's what he'd fucking do. He doesn't feel that because either he's rolling with the wrong people, or you've pissed him off in a way, or something public's happened. I don't have a clue. But something's happened where he feels like, if I take care of her, I'll look like a bitch. That's what he's scared of.
No, he doesn't want to give up his money. This guy's just making shit up right now.
If it was inversed, he had no problem giving you money. Because that's how men function. I'm telling you right now, as a man, I'm telling you what I would do. If I had a chick with a woman, right? And she went on the news.
Did he just say, if I had a chick with a woman? What if he had a dude with a woman?
That's what he's scared of. If it was inversed, he had no problem giving you money. Because that's how men function. I'm telling you right now, as a man, I'm telling you what I would do. If I had a chick with a woman, right?
He did. He said, if I had a chick with a woman. I love it. If I had a chick with a woman.
And she went on the news, top G's this and fucking, like I said, I have no idea what you've done, but I'm just giving my personal made-up scenario.
Oh, yeah.
She would go on the news, top G's this, and he fucking lied to me, he's a piece of shit, da-da-da. And then I bought her a Bentley. Women's like, well, look, she insults Top G, she insults him, and he's a simp, da-da-da. But if she was like, you know what, he's misunderstood, he's a good guy, it just didn't work out, boom, 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 I'd bet she'd be in a mansion.
So Tate is saying, if you're nice to him, and you beg him for money, and you treat him well, despite the fact that he treated her like complete garbage when they were together, obviously, then maybe he would do something for you. Oh, well, here's the thing. He was one half responsible for the birth of that kid, and he should be one half responsible for the financial aspect of it, too. I don't give a shit if she's nice to him. Makes no difference to me. He made that decision. He should pay for the kid, too.
Right? And would that be me being a nice guy, caring about her? Or let's be honest, would it be me being a selfish piece of shit dude and saying, what makes me look better? Men are all about status. It's how we function. It's how we function as a whole. So society, this is where
he's completely full of shit. Like, literally every word out of his mouth is garbage.
Extrapolates, it gets interesting. When society, with this new think, has destroyed all of the baseline humanities and baseline...
when he says new think, he means women being allowed to, like, work and have credit cards and, you know, operate within a normal society. That's what he means. I'm not joking.
Understandings of how men interact with women. And now, all the things we previously understood about what made a good man, what made a good woman, and how we should act together and how we should interact has been erased. Of course men are acting like dickheads, and of course women are doing wrong things, because nothing makes sense anymore. You've taken the chessboard and moved all the fucking pieces around. Nobody gets it. It should be very simple. I'm a man, I work hard, I take care of my woman. I'm the man of the house. She treats me with respect. She would never insult me or raise her voice to me in front of other people. She's a problem. She brings it to me in private. We act as a team. We work together. If we break up, she was a good woman to me. She fulfilled her roles the best she possibly could. I'm still a man. I'm going to take care of her. But all of that.
Oh God, just everything about this is dumb as dog shit. Like, literally everything. If she did everything that he wanted and he was a decent person, they probably wouldn't have split up anyways, right? Seems to me.
That is gone. All of it's gone. All of it. And it's gone because of all the ideas we were discussing earlier. The feminism, the new age bullshit, the fucking dudes left and right and center. All these things, all these baseline things have eroded society to the point where now you have men ignoring their paternal instinct. You have men who will sit there and go, that's my child, but I fuck her.
Okay, wow. So I guess it's a good thing for men to have a paternal instinct in this guy's mind?
That's actually a massive observation to make about how fucked up society is. And it shouldn't be that way because men in a lot of the world are not like that. And so you have to look at all these small things, the small things we talk about. It's no big deal. She goes on boats in Miami. It's no big deal. It is a big deal because now that dude ain't going to want to fucking pay child support because you were on those fucking boats with the other team.
And the thing is that
game.
Do you think that men...
Dude, this whole worldview is complete nonsense, like all of it. It does not apply to real life at all in any way.
It's no big deal. It is a big deal because now that dude ain't going to want to fucking pay child support because you were on those fucking boats with the other team.
And the thing is that before...
Do you think that men...
That was well said, Sagittarius.
Thank you very much.
Do you think that men marry for like high status families? Like I'm thinking of like Ivanka Trump. Like would someone marry a girl for like status in that way?
Well, that's interesting. So what she's really asking is, women only ever marry a man for his money, and men only ever marry women for their looks. That's it. But she's asking, like, do women ever marry for their status?
That is one of the most, I mean, if you look at arranged marriages, it's all for status, right? That's an example. But men primarily marry for, I'd argue that men, and I say this about men, but women do the same thing, right? Women love the idea of getting status from a man. Mm-hmm. Women love the idea, and this is where it actually gets a bit messy. The waters get muddy because women love the idea of bragging about the man they're with, but they can only brag about the man they're with if other women want that man. So you're saying you love women who get cheated, women love getting cheated on. That's not true. But women do not like men that other women don't want. If you were to say, look, I got my man, he's perfect, he's rich, he da-da-da-da-da, and
everything that he talks about, every piece of his worldview is built on complete nonsense. Like, none of it is cohesive. He seems to think that, like, all women are exactly the same. They're all 10s, and none of them are intelligent or even capable of intelligent thought to any degree. None of them are capable of holding down a job because they're all stupid. They're all idiots. They're all worthless and only good for their looks, and that's it. That seems to be his worldview. This is just fucking weird, dude. I had no idea Tate was trying to fake an English accent. He just sounds American. Yeah, totally. He is. He's been trying to fake an English accent for like a long time. You can hear it when he doesn't do his T's. He just jumps from one letter to the next, like status. That's a really common British common accent. Like, there are two types of English accents. There's British common and British noble. British noble sounds kind of like Stewie from Family Guy. It's very smooth and calm and kind of pleasing to the ears, you know. But British common is like a lot clunkier. It's like, oi mate, what are you up to right now? Kind of like that, and it's just like terrible. That's the one that he's trying to fake, and I'm assuming he's trying to fake the British common one because those are the people that he was around. I don't know why he's not faking maybe he's faking that because he wants to be viewed as like an everyman. I don't know. I have no idea.
The girl in the room would go, I would never touch him. She'd be like, oh shit. Oh, I don't want him either then. What the fuck
but
is
you
this?
know, can I add on top of that?
But it's true, right?
No.
Women want men that all the women want.
Do you know what's the best man that woman wants? Is the one that every girl wants, but he doesn't want them.
Okay.
A selective man.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's more valuable than the top
But
G
that's
that
the
gets every
fantasy.
You're
host.
saying
That's
that
the
men,
fantasy.
but Tate,
No, that's
you're
not
saying
the
that
fantasy.
men are
That's
now
not that
polygamous
selective.
and women should accept that. That's the problem. Men are continuously disrespecting their woman. Like, yeah, you know what? You can't be with one woman.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Tate doesn't believe that cheating on a woman is disrespecting her. He believes that it's a moral good for men to cheat on women. Dead serious. This is from earlier in the video.
Is cheating morally correct?
Yes.
Depends.
Yes.
How can you say that? Are you
you're
joking?
okay with your woman cheating on you then?
Absolutely not.
So, yeah, he's okay with men no, I'm sorry. It's moral for men to cheat on women, but it is immoral for women to cheat on men.
No, because
it's a wrap when she cheats on you, but you can cheat on her.
So, anyways, yeah. Just, God, everything about him is ridiculous, dude.
Now you want to keep cheating with all these
But
different women.
that's not what he said. He's saying if you're gonna go for a high status guy, if you're gonna go for the top 5% of guys, that's what comes with it.
No, he said it is moral for men to cheat on women. That is actually what he said. I just showed it.
And if
Yeah,
not,
but
then go for the average guy.
Can I just say that before?
So is it okay for average guys to stick with one woman then?
It's not about okay. It's okay for anyone to do whatever they want. I'm not sitting here saying what's okay and what isn't okay. What I'm talking about is observations about the baseline realities of how humans function. What I'm telling is if you give a man unlimited options, like the men at the top of society have, on a long enough time scale, he will explore said options. That is a fact. Like I said earlier.
No, it's not a fact. That's complete bullshit.
You can walk into a car garage and buy a Nissan.
See, there you go. Another example of him faking an accent. He says car garage and buy a Nissan. In America, we would say go to the garage and buy a Nissan. Or he calls things car parks all the time. Car park is a British thing to say, or like a New Zealand thing or an Australian thing to say. He's faking all of this. He was born and lived in America for the majority of his young life. It's all made up.
And that's reliable, and it'll never let you down. Or you can buy a McLaren. You cannot sit like women do and go, I want the McLaren that's reliable like the Nissan. Well, guess fucking what? That's not real. So you have to choose.
Can
You
I
have
ask you
to
something,
pick.
Mr. Tate? Can I ask you something?
Dude, you know what? Okay, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the TV show called Silicon Valley. Oh my God, it's so funny. I love that show. Andrew Tate is Russ Hanneman personified. That show was the first time that I'd ever heard of a McLaren before, and this just made me connect the dots when he said this. Andrew Tate is Russ Hanneman. Radio on internet. That's how he got famous. I know that means nothing to people who haven't seen it, but it's so funny, dude. You should really watch Silicon Valley if you've never seen it. The ending was garbage. The last season was total trash, but the show overall was so fucking funny.
I want to
Years
go next.
ago, right? Do you think it makes a difference? Because years ago, if you want to meet a man, you go out there and you actually talk. But now you meet a guy, he can go and check out your IG and see what you're all about. Don't you think that by them being able to look and see what you're all about, that makes a difference to how they perceive you?
100%. I think society is fundamentally and utterly broken. I think the way that men and women interact is broken. I think that men are broken. I think that women are broken. I think everything is
I think your mom's broken.
completely fucked, genuinely. And this is where we go into the small things. We're talking about status. You're right about IG. If I go on a date with a girl and I look at her Instagram page, I'm sitting there thinking, does this make me look good or bad? Yes, I want her to be hot. Yes, I want her to have followers. Yes, I want everyone chasing her. But what's that caption about fucking city life? And what's this about? What's that? That's not, nah.
Dude, so what he's saying is he's super insecure and paranoid that his woman, quote unquote, is going to like be out there doing things that he doesn't approve of. So he's going to stalk her Instagram and find every post that she's ever made and criticize it and tell her to take it down. And if she doesn't, they can't be together. This is beta behavior, FYI. You're a beta if you do this kind of shit. If you are so insecure with your woman, quote unquote, that you have to stalk her social media and tell her what she can and can't have on there, you are a beta. Beta! You're not a top G. You're a beta.
Puts me off, right? So it's interesting. What's also interesting is the majority of women don't have a clue in the modern world what men find attractive. So we said earlier in the very beginning of this podcast about men who want their all this bullshit. Men don't, that's not attractive to men. We don't want any of that.
What? Men don't want that? Speak for yourself, buddy. I don't know of a single person out there who doesn't want that to say, who isn't interested in having a sexual relationship with people. Put it that way. I don't know of a single person who isn't interested in having a sexual relationship with people. Well, that's not fair. I do know some ace people, but that's like the outlier situation. That's the anomaly. That's the, not the common scenario that you find. The vast majority of the time, people are getting in relationships and do have an interest in having a sexual component to it. So, yeah, he's just completely full of shit. Of course.
Most women, if you were to say, how do you attract a man, they wouldn't have a Scooby-Doo. They wouldn't have an idea.
I know.
You wouldn't have a Scooby-Doo? Is that what he said?
They want a submissive woman.
Hello, my
She
name's
cooks for
Denalba.
him. Give him some massage.
No, but it's not-
Feed him great.
It's not just. No, it's not. It's not even.
Pat his head.
It's not just about that. One of
the hell is happening right now?
One of the important things for being a man, especially in a relationship, is we want to be our woman. If I have a woman and I love her, I want to be her portal to the world. I want her to experience things through me and see things through me.
Wow, dude. That is bad. 146.26. I got to write that down. I should be the portal through which the woman experiences everything. Can you say, as insecure as it comes, I don't believe that I have ever seen anybody this insecure in my entire life. I don't think I've ever even been on my wife's Facebook page in my life. I don't think I've ever been on it before. I don't even know what name is on there. Like, I don't know if, like, when we got married, she switched her name or anything. For all I know, she could be, like, talking to hot dudes all day, 24/7. Like, who knows? Because I don't go there because I'm not insecure. I don't sit here thinking about it 24/7. Like, oh, my God. Is she, like, talking to hot dudes all day or what? I don't know. Because I'm not insecure. This is screaming insecurity. It's just so cringy. Scooby-Doo means clue. It's rhyming slang. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I've never heard that before. It's kind of a beta thing to say, isn't it? A little bit. Seems kind of beta to me. I'm sorry. When I was talking, people are saying they're ace. I do know a lot of ace people. What I meant was ace people looking for relationships, specifically. That's a really uncommon situation, I think. Yeah, no, despite the occasional estuary accent hints at most, he sounds like an American. Yeah, absolutely. He does. He's, like, really bad at faking it. I don't know. It's just terrible. But it seems very obvious to me that he is trying to fake a British accent. At the very least, he uses British terms, like car park and stuff. But, yeah, it's all fake.
I have a woman and I love her. I want to be her portal to the world. I want her to experience things through me and see things through me. So for that, I need a degree of innocence and purity for her.
Dude, he is so insecure. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing.
I want to be the first person to put her on a private jet. I want her to get on the jet and go, wow, I did it. Oh, you took me. It's like.
Oh, so he wants somebody who was not previously rich, is what he's saying. Check this clip out. This is really interesting to me.
I recently bought a very expensive car. Too expensive. I'm an idiot. I bought a Bugatti, and when I was at the Bugatti dinner, everyone else there was either
Apparently they have dinners for Bugatti owners.
daddy's money or oil money, right? And they had no respect for anything. Like to me, it was a massive deal. But because they'd never ever been poor, they had no respect for it. So it's kind of like you can be a.
So this is really interesting to me. He's discovered something that I discovered. When I came to New York City, I found out that there are a lot of people in New York City that are made of old money. Like, they've had their money for generations, generational wealth. I did not come from generational wealth. I've been poor practically my entire fucking life. And, I have been poor my whole life. And when I first discovered people who have old money, I guess you could say when I first met my very first old money person, I discovered that there's this weird divide between old money and new money. Old money hates new money. They think they're, like, classless and sloppy and just terrible in every way. I guess old money does not like talking to new money at all. They hate each other, apparently. And that's the distinction, or that's the line that Andrew Tate has discovered now, apparently. That's pretty interesting. So anyways, yeah, I guess I'll leave that there.
I want to give someone a Christmas present if they'd had 10 presents better than you beforehand.
Yeah,
Would you?
like, that's
it's like,
it.
well, duh.
Yeah.
So
So, yeah, it's obvious to me that Tate has some weird obsession with, like, being with somebody who is not from money, apparently. He wants somebody who, I guess in his mind, is, like, trashy, quote-unquote. That's kind of how old money views new money, as trashy. Matter of fact, 50 Cent actually wrote a song about this, or put something in a song about it. He did a part in a song with The Game called This Is How We Do, and it's all about how people say he came up too fast and stuff like that. It's kind of interesting, the weird dynamic that's shared between old money and new money.
As a man, so as a woman, what makes you attractive to a man, to a degree, is your innocence and your purity. This is very important. And it can go down to very basic, simple things. I'll tell you, if I walk in a club, do you know who the hottest girl in the club? It's the girl who isn't
The 16-year-old. Is it right? Did I get it right?
dancing, isn't twerking on a fucking stage, not surrounded by dudes. When girls want male attention in a club, they start
Oh, okay. Well, I was close, I guess.
drinking, twerking. That is the most revolting, haram bullshit. I may want to you, but I don't want to be with you. If you show
This is why I don't go to clubs. I've never been to a club in my life. I think I've been to a strip club once when I was like 18, and that's it. I think clubs are terrible in every way, basically. So why is he going to clubs to find girls is my real question. Probably so that he can get them involved in his human trafficking ring.
shy. I'm like, good. She hasn't experienced too much life. I can show her things. And also, not just show her things. This is a very important point that I get attacked by the Matrix for because they completely misunderstand me on purpose. As a man, if I'm out here struggling and leading and trying to lead my household, I also want a woman who shares my values. I want to a degree to educate my woman and show her things and for her to agree with me. Like you said earlier, looking for a male role model. You want to be a role model to your woman. If she's too experienced with life, it's difficult to be a role model. If she's sitting there shy and quiet, you can come along and say, no, you know what? Don't take the fucking vaccine. Listen to me. And you can be a role model for her.
Wow, dude, this is so disgusting. He's saying he wants somebody to be stupid, basically. Completely unintelligent, uninformed, know absolutely nothing. He wants to be the filter through which she experiences life from as young an age as humanly possible, is what he's saying right now. And he wants her, not only does he want her to listen to him, but he wants her to not understand anything outside of him. He doesn't want her to have a mind of her own in any way. I'm writing this one down too. My woman should listen to me and be uninformed. That's what I'll write. It's just bad. The other day when I was doing like a breakdown of this stuff with Tate, somebody comes to the chat in YouTube and they're like, oh, when has he actually said something misogynistic, though? When has he ever been misogynistic? Here you go. Here is a good example right here of him being blatantly, plainly misogynistic. Saying that women are not good for anything outside of their looks and that they should be quiet and innocent and uninformed and experience life entirely through him. They should experience life through him as a filter. Simply disgusting.
You can't do that for a woman who knows too fucking much, knows too many dudes, been too many places. So it's this degree of purity that we're looking for that's super important.
What about intellect, though? I'm curious if you said if she's like done too many things, that's like bad. Right?
Yes, correct.
So, I'm not even talking sexually, like been on a private jet. Yeah. I'm curious because I lived a.
But how do you get on a private jet without sucking dick?
Oh, I was just.
Are you kidding me? What about if you come from a rich family? What if your dad had a private jet? Like there are all, and hell, what if she's rich? She could be rich, couldn't she? Like she could have a decent job, a good job. She could have friends that have a lot of money, right? This all goes back to the fact that Andrew Tate believes that women are only good for one thing. They are only valuable in a single way.
Just curious because my dad's part of like he's top like 1% in terms of like income,
He's a
and I
top
was just
G.
curious, is it different if you did stuff with your dad?
Well, no, that's fine. I mean,
Okay, well, I took that wrong for a second. She's saying if you did those things, like got on a private jet with your father, for example.
No, not like that.
As
Not
in, like,
sexual.
that
That's
is the one
not,
that-
no,
Oh,
I'm
wait.
not like.
I
She
know
said
what you're saying.
private
I know what
jet.
you're saying.
Yeah,
I know what
private.
you're saying. Well, I mean, I know exactly what
No,
you're saying.
yeah.
But my point is that we're looking for a true degree of innocence inside of females, and it's that innocence is going to make us feel protective over them, and that the protectiveness is going to make us be good men.
Okay.
So when we're
Just everything about this is insane, first of all. And second, where is his head that he doesn't want somebody who's had a ton of experiences already? Like, having experiences is nice. It means that you guys can, like, you don't have to share experiences with each other. You can have these experiences separately, and then you can connect over them. Or if you haven't had those experiences together, but one of you has, go have the experience together. Why does it have to be like your woman is not allowed to be on a private jet? You have to ride the first private jet together. Just everything about it is insane.
looking at society as a whole and how broken it is, I understand that. Men have a massive role to play, women have a massive role to play. But a lot of the paternal instincts and instinctual behaviors of men, because the instinctual behavior of man is to die for his woman. Mm-hmm. Like someone comes to try and take her, pull a sword, die to defend her, right?
What? Okay, I've literally never thought about that scenario in my entire life. He believes that, like, men sit around thinking about, like, people coming up and attacking their women and them having to, like, pull... Literally, he just said, pull out a sword and die for their woman. I've never, one time in my life, have I ever considered the possibility that I would have to pull out a sword and duel somebody for the life of my woman. Just saying it is ridiculous, dude.
Right? Mm-hmm. If you're going through life and you find that men don't really feel about you that way, that's because a lot of their instinct is being eroded by the fact that you, like you said, they look through your IG or they look through your life and you've lived so much life and they just feel like, there's nothing new I can bring to this girl's reality.
But I don't feel like that's true, though, because, like, I think it's like, I get what you're saying to a degree, right? But it's like, you could be on a private jet 10 times, but it's going to be special because it's with you.
Yeah. Not for him, it isn't. Not for him. For him, it's special because it's your first time. Because men, maybe it's a biological predisposition. Maybe it's just the way we're designed.
Or maybe it's just you. This does not apply to anybody else except for Andrew Tate, as far as I can tell.
But let's tie it back to first time. It's not that you've done it. It's that you've done it with...
No, hold on. Why are we tying this back to... We shouldn't be tying this back to... We're talking about plane rides right now. What does any of this have to do with plane rides? Why is it bad for a woman to ride on an airplane without you? Why is that a bad thing? We shouldn't be tying it to...
time, because men, maybe it's a biological predisposition. Maybe it's just the way we're designed. But let's tie it back to first time. It's not that you've done it. It's that you've done it with the first time with me. That's what is important. It's experience as a whole that men find. It's just the truth. Call me...
No, it isn't. It's not the truth at all. This is completely fabricated.
Misogynistic, cancel me, whatever. I'm telling the truth. I always have done. It's experience of life as a whole that men, to a degree, find off-putting. We don't want a woman who's had a bunch of trauma, had a bunch of experiences, done a bunch of shit, knows a bunch of people, been a bunch of places.
I have no issue with my woman, quote unquote, having experiences, hanging out with friends, knowing other people. None of that bothers me even a little bit. Like, none. He is completely full of it here. Completely full of it.
That's the absolute opposite of what we want. We want the complete polar opposite of that. And what's funny is women want men who have done those things. I'll tell you right now. Go out there and find a virgin woman and say, do you want to have your first boyfriend? Do you want to lose your virginity to a virgin man or a man
virgin hunk.
or a man who's had a couple girls? She'll choose a dude with experience as a virgin herself. Experience is always coveted and respected in men. It's the opposite in women.
That's not necessarily true. I mean, having experiences with people for the first time, I suppose, is nice, but he's not just saying it's nice to have a fun experience with somebody for the first time, like riding on an airplane with somebody for the first time. He's not saying that that's nice. He's taking it way, way, way further and saying my woman is required to only have experiences with me. She cannot fly on a private jet. That is against the rules. It's just insane. Everything about it is insane.
That's true.
It's true. So we have to look at how fucked up the world is. Women, especially between their 18 and 28, or 18 and 25, let's say, are living these crazy lifestyles, these crazy lives.
What women are we talking about? Who is living these crazy lives? This is a completely made-up scenario that does not exist in almost anybody.
With the most important people, richest people on the planet doing everything that can be experienced under the sun. And then at 29, 30, some dude's expected to come along, know he's second place to X, Y, Z, and be happy with that, and not allow it to hurt his ego, and sit there and pick it up and put a fucking brave face on. It kills him every day inside. That's the reality. He's in love with you, and you've been fucking where with fucking who? I can't afford a jet. I'm Joe Schmo.
Okay.
That fucking breaks their hearts.
Dude, this is such a weird little niche scenario that happens like 0.01% of the time. This is just bizarre, dude. Just weird for him to like draw out this odd little situation and then kind of claim that it happens constantly to everybody. It's just odd.
Do you think that hoes can ever be turned into housewives?
Okay, I'll answer that question. And the answer is actually, truthfully, yes. Which I know a lot of people are confused by. They can. If you're a good enough, high enough level man, you absolutely can turn a hoe into a housewife, but why the fuck would you? Because you don't have to. A man like me, I could, but I'm not low on options, so I would never decide to do that. If you're a billionaire, could you can find an old rusty car and rebuild it, or you can just buy a new one, right? So it's not about what could be done, it's about what will be done. So once women hit a certain
Wow. I mean, just think about even how he's comparing women to things here. Can you turn a hoe into a housewife? Why would you try to turn a rusty old broken down car into something that's nice? It's pointless. Everything about the guy's worldview, everything completely from beginning to end is all so deeply misogynistic, it's disgusting.
Status of man, I don't think women are stupid. I actually argue the fact that women have a beautiful intuition. I think that women, to a degree, their intuition is truly almost psychic.
No, he thinks that women are stupid. Having an intuition or like a gut feeling says nothing about intelligence. He believes women are stupid and incapable of doing anything that's worth their time. Like they're too stupid to be police officers. They're too stupid to be soldiers, too stupid to be absolutely anything. He does believe that. I don't know why he's backtracking. This is like earlier when he flat out said it is moral, outright moral, for men to cheat on their girlfriends.
Is cheating morally correct?
Yes.
Depends.
Yes.
How
So
can you say that? Are you
you're
joking?
okay with your woman cheating on you then?
Absolutely not. That's haram.
No, because
It's around when she cheats on you, but you can cheat on her.
He outright says it. It just blows me away that his worldview is so completely inconsistent, because he starts from there, and by the middle of this live stream or this recording or whatever that he did, he backed off that point. He said, well, I don't know if it's moral exactly. It beats around the bush. And then the owner of the YouTube channel, Pearl, starts running interference for him, saying, well, he didn't say it was moral, when he absolutely did. That's what he does. He starts from his real position, and then he slowly backs off of it as he gets pushed back. We know what he really thinks about this stuff.
Number of times I've come home and she's like, you were cheating. And I was like, how the fuck does she know I'm fucking cheating? Like, you have intuition and it's real. You guys are...
Well, apparently he's never been cheated on, or he doesn't know what it's like to be cheated on or whatever. When you're cheated on, you know. It's obvious that something is up. Because humans have been watching human behavior their entire lives. We base everything off of human behavior. off of studying it, watching it, understanding it, seeing how people react to various different things. And when somebody does something they know they're not supposed to be doing, it's obvious to everybody. It's obvious. It's certainly obvious to the person that was wronged. When you're being cheated on, it's obvious. I've been cheated on and I've seen it. It's not because women have some special intuition. It's that it's really hard to hide.
You guys are smart, right? And if they get to a certain echelon of man, they're not going to go anywhere because there's nowhere else to go. They're going to get to a guy eventually. They're going to stop at the buck and go, you know what? Where am I going to surpass this specimen? So I'm just going to behave for him. So you could turn a hoe into a housewife that way. But why would a man at that level want to do that?
Why do some guys at certain, and this is obviously a celebrity example, but I'm sure we can all think of examples in like day-to-day life where a guy with a lot of options does pick a hoe and like wife her, like for example, Kim and Kanye. Because Kanye clearly has options.
She
right?
did not want to be a housewife.
No,
she was a project.
So is she asking why Kanye had so many options and still picked Kim Kardashian? That's interesting. In that very specific case, I think it was because she was super famous and he believed that it would make him look really good to be with somebody that was really famous. So in that one case, I think it was probably status. He married her for status, or at least he showed interest in her for status originally, and then fell in love with her eventually, in my opinion. It seems to me.
Okay, I understand. I'm just asking because some guys do pick.
Yeah, they do. And it's a really good point. And I have nothing bad to say about Kanye. In fact, I think a lot of the work he's doing now in terms of attacking the Matrix is important. But I can give you a generalized answer.
Holy shit, dude. 152. I got to write this one down. That's insane. So this video with Andrew Tate came out on Christmas Day, 2022. I have to imagine that it was filmed around that time, in December sometime, right? Sometime that month. It couldn't have been that old. So let's talk about the things that Kanye said leading up to this filming. What is it that Andrew Tate is praising exactly? Let's just watch 3 short clips of Kanye West telling us how he feels about certain issues and how he believes we should solve certain specific problems in society. Check this out. This is Kanye West on Alex Jones. This one is from December 1st, 2022.
Seriously, I've really studied a lot of history. Plus, I had family that was there. And so, I mean, I don't think Hitler was a good guy. I get the Hugo Boss uniforms, amazing. But I mean, just because you're in love with the design, you're a designer. Can we just kind of say like you like the uniforms, but that's about it?
No. There's a lot of things that I love about Hitler. A lot of things.
So Kanye West has basically made this his issue, loving Hitler. Dead serious. This is not something that you come across very often. Somebody who's ultra famous just coming out and saying that they love Hitler like this. It's insane.
The most Nazi-like activities I've seen, and the Nazis, in my view, were thugs that shook people down, did a lot of really bad things.
But they did good things too. We're going to stop dissing the Nazis all the time.
Okay.
They did not do good things. Nazis were the epitome of evil. This is what Andrew Tate is like endorsing and encouraging and speaking highly about. This. Kanye's doing great things, he says. Or check this one out. This is from early December. Yeah, early December. It's an interview he did with Gavin McInnes, the guy who founded the Proud Boys.
But they don't deserve to be in charge of everything.
Talking about Jews. Jews don't deserve to be in charge of anything, actually, is what he said earlier.
Because they don't put Christ in.
But how do you legislate that?
They need to work for Christians. Jews should work for Christians. I'll hire a Jewish person in a second. If I knew they weren't a spy and I could look through their phone and follow them to their house and have a camera all in their living room.
They're laughing because it's so absurd, but there's really nothing like funny about it. And they know there's nothing funny about it. He's not even joking. It's not a joke. He's dead serious with this stuff. This is insane. He's directly endorsing creating a second class of citizens and segregating the society, basically, between Jews and Christians, or probably more accurately, Christians and everybody else. And here we have Andrew Tate directly praising Kanye West, saying that he's a good guy, he's doing good things.
Some guys do pick.
Yeah, they do, and it's a really good point. And I have nothing bad to say about Kanye. In fact, I think a lot of the work he's doing now in terms of attacking the Matrix is important, but I can give you a generalized answer. But it's a man who is not true to his masculine imperative, which is going to fall for the propaganda machine.
That's fucking whacked. That is absolutely whacked, dude. Seriously.
Which is being purported upon him, who's going to believe that all the crap that is being told by society, like a female's past doesn't matter and all this shit doesn't matter. This is what's interesting in the fight against the Matrix, because people always say to me, Andrew, why do you come here and say all these things? They're literally trying to destroy your life for what you say. And the truth is, as a man, you have two choices. You either fight against the programming and the brainwashing they're trying to put inside of all of our minds, or you end up fighting against yourself. If you're a man and you sit down and you believe the garbage that society's telling you about how society functions between men and women, you're going to end up getting fucking wrecked, like these dudes do. They sit there and go, just because she's fucked everyone doesn't mean she'll do it again. Just because, and they sit there like dummies and they get fucking wrecked, right?
I have no idea what hyper-specific situation he's even referring to right now. This is so weird.
You have to sit there as a man and go, no, I don't give a shit what society's telling me. I understand something baseline about humanity, right? And that's why they make these poor choices, and a lot of men do make these poor choices, but it's only in the West. It's only in the West where this propaganda machine exists. You will not find a Russian billionaire doing this dumb shit.
You won't find a Russian billionaire doing this dumb shit because women's rights don't exist practically in Russia. Yeah, the West has women's rights, and that's part of the reason why they've been so successful. Without fail, the best way to improve a society, to build an economy, is to raise women up to be more than just beasts of burden. That's basically it. I mean, it's a time-tested strategy to improve economies and improve the standard of living across the board for everybody, not just women, but for everybody.
Shit. You will not find a Chinese billionaire doing this dumb shit. You do not go to Saudi and find a sheikh doing this dumb shit. None of it. You only find it in the West.
Do you think the values of the West are spreading?
What values?
So
name a value of the West.
Sorry.
Dude, are you kidding me? The West doesn't have any values? Really, it's like Enlightenment values. Being in favor of democracy and women's rights and all that stuff. Like, just look at the Bill of Rights. Freedom of speech, all kinds of stuff. Those are really the values of the West.
Name a value.
Sorry, I might have misspoke.
Ideals.
I mean, like, the ideas of the West. Like, I've just gotten, I get messages from people, like, from all over. And, like, in places like India, I've heard feminism is spreading there. Like, I've heard that. Do you not find that to be true?
So firstly, the West has no value. The only thing the West seems to defend fervently is LGBT. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm not. I'm just saying it's the only thing that they'll stand up and fight for. I don't know why. It's weird. Like, they don't care about anything else. They don't care about...
The West cares about all kinds of stuff. Like, what's he even talking about right now?
Children going without child support. They don't care about people dying in wars. They don't care about our parents being in parenting homes. They don't care about crime. They don't care about no one being able to pay their energy bills. They don't care about nothing, but they give...
Dude, what? What is he talking about? Like, all of these things are issues that people are facing and are trying to be alleviated and trying to work through. These are all things that people care about.
Give a shit for some reason about this one thing, and they'll fucking throw the flag all around the world.
Which is, again, surrounded around sex.
That's all they care about. It's fucking strange. So that's the first thing about the values of the West. Second thing, the harder society and the harder the life is as a whole, the longer it's going to take for feminism to spread. Feminism only exists in a vacuum of an easy life. If you're living in a society like India, where life is hard, feminism disappears because the harder life is, the closer people naturally...
No, feminism doesn't disappear in India. They just can't fight for it, is all. Trust me, there are young girls in India who have absolutely terrible, horrific, fucked up lives solely because they need feminism in that area, because they're being mistreated terribly, because they're women and no other reason. Feminism should exist in India. It's just not there yet, unfortunately. Maybe one day.
Truly revert to their gender roles. If you got a bunch of 10 men, 10 women, stranded them on a desert island, and they had to survive, very quickly the men would do men shit and the women would do women shit. There'd be very little talk about feminism and equality and all this shit.
That's because they're not dealing with systemic oppression on a desert island with like 3 people total. There is no system to systemically oppress them in the first place. Of course, there won't be talk of inequality or any of that. Like, what's he even talking about right now? Oh, also, somebody said, what do you call a lazy kangaroo? A pouch potato. Love it. That's pretty good. That's on point. That's a good joke.
Shit would fucking vanish when shit hits the fan, right? So in countries where life is hard.
I don't know exactly what he means when he says feminism would vanish when things get hard. Things get hard for people all the time, and it shows we need feminism even more most of the time.
Feminism can't take hold because feminism can only exist in a vacuum of a very privileged life. I'm sure there's
completely false. Guess what? If you live in an area that has like a very unprivileged life, if you live in an area that's really, really hard for everybody, women have it even harder than men. In every single society across the board in the world right now, that's the case. If everyone has it hard, women have it harder than men. That's just how it works. And for that reason, we should do everything we can to improve the situation. Not just for everybody, but for women very specifically.
There's some kid in India who didn't get laid off some chick, and he's complaining she's a feminist. There's a bunch of dumb shit, right? But I think the world is going to get a lot harder. I think the world is cyclical. I think it's been easy for a while. I think hard times are coming. And when hard times come...
Oh, my God. He's saying this stupid thing that circles around. It's interesting in concept, but it doesn't really work this way exactly. The saying is, hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. It's supposed to be like a cycle. It was invented by some author from the 1950s or something, and it's an interesting idea. I think it's kind of cool to think about, but it doesn't really work that way exactly. This is kind of right-wing propaganda by and large, and that's how they use it. The right, the far right particularly, uses this saying constantly. Joe Rogan popularized it and everything. Yeah, it just doesn't work that way.
People are going to naturally revert to what gives them the highest chance of survival, which is gender roles, right? I have the best chance of survival being a man.
Why is that gender roles? Why do gender roles improve your chance of surviving better or whatever?
Man, and a woman has the best chance of survival being my woman. That's how she's going to function.
Do you think women typically are happier as housewives rather than a career?
Well,
depends on the career.
No,
depends on the man.
The answer is absolutely and utterly yes.
Are you kidding me? In every situation, holy shit, dude. I love his absolutism here. In every situation, women like being housewives rather than working a normal job. That is insane. Right now, we're looking at a woman who is in charge of this YouTube channel with 1 million subbies on it, asking him these questions. And he says, you would be happier as a housewife, effectively. That's insane.
Because giving life is the most beautiful thing a female can do. That's what you've evolved to do. That's the thing that men cannot do. I think that women who focus on having children and do their best to be good mothers in the end are the happiest females on the planet.
Being a mother.
Look, people can be mothers and also work. What's he talking about?
Being a housewife is kind of different, though.
Okay, no, but it's essentially the same thing. If you're a housewife long enough, I'm going to assume you're going to end up having children. And I think that the sooner a woman has children, the better. If she can find a good man and have a child, that's a fantastic thing. I think it's a beautiful thing. And I don't see the point in a woman slaving away for a corporation that doesn't care about her as opposed to slaving away for her own flesh and blood. I think that's a complete waste of a life. I think if men are...
Dude, this is straight up incel culture right here. Incel beliefs. This has directly led to mass attacks. This is an extremist ideology that has led to attacks on people. Directly led to attacks. This is nuts, dude.
Are already doing that. Why would you want to go along and do that as well?
Because a career is not just slaving away for a corporation. A career can involve 1 million different things.
Well, that's exactly what a career is. It's slaving away for a corporation that doesn't care about you. And I understand you have to pay the bills, and I understand you don't want to be completely sufficient. You want to be self-sufficient. You don't want to be dependent on a man. I understand all that. But in an idealistic scenario, in the vacuum of ideology, if you could sit and be a woman and focus on having children or focus on doing a job, I think on a long enough time scale, you're going to be much happier with your progeny as opposed to working a job.
Can I ask you a question? Because I feel like we talk a lot about hoes, we talk about a lot of the extreme. There's a lot of gray matter in the middle.
Sure.
Where a lot of women kind of get lost.
Yep.
For example, I think that one of the issues sometimes that I hear a lot about, and I personally may say I feel it sometimes, is that when you're also a quite educated woman, intellectual, intelligent, whatever, smart, a lot of the time, naturally, you speak in a way that stands out from other people, right? And I find that a lot of the time, that kind of intimidates some of the man them, where they start thinking, this girl is a bit too much. Now, it is not my fault that I'm smart. It's not my fault that I can put one and one together very nicely, very quickly.
Doesn't seem like that to me. I'm sorry. She has given him some pushback. She doesn't seem particularly intelligent. This is not like an insult at all. I'm not trying to insult her in any way. She's just not intelligent.
What kind of man is going to be able to handle that?
I have to give me a minute.
This woman laughs like I don't speak 4 languages and got 3 degrees.
Even people here are laughing at the fact that she thinks she's intelligent. I'm sorry. Again, not an insult at all. I'm not trying to insult her. Everybody here, except maybe Brittany Renner, is dumb as dog shit. Every one of them.
My fault that I can put one and one together very nicely, very quickly. What kind of man is going to be able to handle that?
I have to give me a minute.
This woman laughs like I don't speak 4 languages and got 3 degrees. Now I thought.
Wait, is she trying to say you're not smart?
It's okay. I speak how I do for a reason. So please,
That's
sir, can
kinda
you help
rude,
me out?
though.
I'm trying to find a husband, the kind of beast that can handle a woman like me.
Well, this is another point, right? And I'm only answering generally, right? Because this is the first time I've met all of you ladies. You've all been very polite to me. You've all been very nice. I'm just talking generally. And I'm going to answer it based on your last sentence. Your last sentence was handle a woman like me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at the average man's life, like I just discussed earlier, how difficult it is, how competitive he has to be, and how many problems he has to fix. Do you think he wants to handle any woman?
Okay, so...
Do you like the idea of any degree of...
Yeah, okay, this is actually fair enough. You know, she said, why would anybody want to handle her? Like, she's making it very clear right now that she's miserable to be with. Like, nobody wants to be with somebody who is a pain in the ass and difficult and ridiculous and obsessed with themselves and obsessed with, like, everything. No one wants that. But she's, like, parading it around and she's, like, proud of it, seemingly. Why would anybody want to be with somebody like that is the question. And that's fair enough. I certainly wouldn't want to be with somebody who believes that they need to be handled because they're too much for most people. Why are you proud of that?
Problem. It's the straw that breaks the camel's back. Like the point of having a woman as a man, for me at least, is for her to be my peace and quiet. My life is stress. You see me, I'm rolling around with fucking security teams and I got problems and they're after me and
they are after. Who is they? Tell me who you think is after you, Andrew. Can you say paranoid delusion?
I come home to my chick. The last thing I want to do is have to handle anything. I want her to just sit the fuck down and her make me happy. She used to be my positive energy.
Okay. Oh my God. Just everything about this dude is cringy and terrible. Everything. Every single thing.
She used to be my sunshine in the rainstorm.
Okay.
So you're talking about him handle you. I don't know. I can't answer the question exactly. But if you're sitting there constantly arguing over small points or correcting him or that, he's probably thinking, this is a battle. I don't have the energy for another fight.
Okay.
I agree, actually, with that. I mean, aside from all of that garbage about him wanting her to make him happy when he gets home, that's just insane. That's, like, pathologically fucking insane. But, okay, I agree with the rest, I suppose.
So now let me add extra context to what I mean as well. So obviously submission is something that people talk about a lot.
Yeah.
For me, I'm a logical person, I believe. And I submit with logic. I don't submit by default because there's a
She's not a logical person. She was just talking about how he's a Sagittarius. Like, through the entire thing, she's been talking about astrology. In no way is she logical. She may believe she is. She's not at all. But okay.
level of respect that I believe I need to have
Yes.
to be able to submit. Obviously, it's
I
not
agree.
that I go around and I disrespect all men and everything, but I find that my level of thought process, a lot of the times,
It makes it hard. No, so I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, thank you.
No, but you need to find a man you truly respect to submit to him,
Yeah.
and I completely respect that. And that's the same with
Women should always submit to men. Is his framing here? Women should always submit to men.
99% of women. Like you're never going to submit to a man you don't respect. And respect is ultimately important because you're not going to sleep with a man you don't respect.
Oh, interesting. So the reason that she believes that she doesn't want to submit to men, the reason that she wants to be treated as an equal is because she hasn't met a good man yet. All of the men that she's met so far have been betas where she has to be the alpha or something, I guess. Kind of what he's saying, right?
Respect. You're not going to be attracted to a man you don't respect. Respect is the bottom line of it. And the man has a job to do. He has a duty to do to be worthy of respect. But this all goes back into a very interesting point. Some of the points I've kind of mentioned earlier. If I was a woman, if I was a chick, the chance of me ending up in a relationship with a man I don't respect is 0%. I don't understand how you girls end up. Well, I do understand how you girls end up here. You end up here because of feminism, promiscuity, promises that running around taking dick is fine, dumb shit, stupid decisions. I'm independent, so it doesn't matter that he's a dummy. Bunch of garbage. When you should be waking up going, you know what? I'm going to be extremely selective, and I'm going to take my time and be very, very smart because you're the gatekeeper. By the time you're in a relationship with somebody, you should have immense respect for that man. Absolute immense respect. You shouldn't be able to get there any other way. The only reason you've got there is because you've been tricked by society and lied to and told a bunch of fucking bullshit. So, you're...
About what specifically? He says the only reason that you get with somebody that you don't want to be with or that's terrible is because you've been lied to and told a bunch of bullshit. Like what? What bullshit is he talking about?
Talking about submission and respect, yeah. It'll come when you meet the right man, naturally. And this is another point I make, because I have a lot of men message me. I trust, guys, please understand, the most Googled man on the planet.
Was the most Googled man on the planet. No longer. At one point in time, he was, and now it's somebody else. He's going to parade this around forever, isn't he?
100,000 emails a day from people. And I get dudes email me, how do I get my woman to submit? And I can't reply to all the emails, but if I ever read them, I'm like, bro, you're a fucking dork. Why would she reply to you? Why would she submit to you? You're a fucking nerd. That's the truth. I'm not out here saying...
It's so cringy, dude. I gotta write this down, too. This is bad. Why would your woman submit to you? You're a fucking nerd. It's so cringy. It's funny. It's wrapped back around. It's so awful. It's hilarious.
Submit to all men. Men are the boss. I'm saying, listen, there's natural balance in the universe. When you meet a G, I've never had trouble with a woman obeying me. She just wants to.
This guy is just fucking disgusting, honestly. It's awful.
It's natural for our dynamic. If she didn't want to obey me, we wouldn't even get to the point of a relationship. If she didn't feel like she wanted to listen to me, we would have never got to where we want to get. It just doesn't work.
There's another good example. Earlier, I said, like, somebody came into the chat and said, but what's he said that's misogynistic, though? There you go. There's what he said. He has a tendency to start from a really extreme, nutty position that's absolutely insane and unconnected from reality, where he's like saying absolutely crazy things like men should cheat on a woman. It's a moral obligation that men cheat on a woman. He starts there, and then when he receives pushback, he kind of moves back a little bit. He's been doing that with every issue this entire time. He starts from a place of absolute insanity, and when he gets pushback, he kind of moves back a little bit, but ultimately tries to argue that he was right all along. Believe what he says the first time, because that's what he really means.
That shit only happens when the female's fucking giving up sex too easy and the dude's just picking up easy and they end up in some bullshit relationship. They don't even like each other. That's dumb shit. That's dumb shit, right? But I don't have any of these problems in my life. And if you're a dude at home and you're watching this and you go, I want my woman to submit, and she doesn't, guess what? She doesn't respect you. And guess whose fault that is a lot of the time? Your fault.
It is his fault. You know why? Because you're asking your woman to submit to you. What does that even mean? What would that entail? What does it look like for your woman to submit to you? To obey you? Like, what are you telling your woman to do that requires obedience? This is just fucking disgusting, dude.
That is your fault as a man.
Tell
It is.
Yes.
No, it is.
Yes.
No, I'm
That's
not-
what
no,
you guys
it's-
need to damn here. Tell him, please.
But it's not
Tell him.
about blaming men and women because everyone has a problem. But then there's also men who are worthy of respect who women refuse to respect
True.
because of society.
Tell the
so
sisters
there's
to-
two.
You notice how he said that word society just now? He said society. If he really did have a British accent, he would have said society. He would have dropped the T off. That's what he's been doing this entire time. It's because he's trying to develop this accent and forgetting sometimes.
There's two sides to it, right? But a lot of it is if you're a capable enough man and you're brilliant enough, then the female has no choice. But it's very interesting.
If you're a brilliant enough man, the female has no choice but to submit to you. Seriously, how many examples of misogyny do we need here?
This goes back into a point I made earlier about how important it is for us men to find women who we don't believe have had a lot of life experience and look like they are. Because I got attacked. I'm going to make this point right now. I got attacked when the Matrix attacked me and fucking lied about me. They said that men are interested in women who are younger because they're more programmable. And that they're trying to make out that I'm making out that men are out here trying to get women and fucking do bad things to them.
Yes, that is exactly what he did. We have court records as evidence that he is a human trafficker. A girl was trapped in his basement and he took her passport and her other stuff, like cell phone and everything. She managed to get a phone call out to a friend in the United States where she was from. The friend called the U.S. Embassy in Romania. The Romanian police started an investigation, raided his house, and found girls in his basement. I am dead serious. That is what happened. This guy explicitly says he uses the lover boy method of human trafficking to trap girls and force them to work for him through blackmail, through undue influence, things like that. He is most definitely a human trafficker. That's on record. I would say innocent until proven guilty, but I don't even know if that's how the Romanian court system works. I don't know. Maybe it is. But I have the evidence I need to determine that he's a human trafficker because he told me that in the form of his book. Dude, unironically, wrote a book about human trafficking and how he did it. And we're going to be reading that next on my Telltale Reads YouTube channel if you want to see some of it. I'm going through a book right now titled President Donald J. Trump, the Son of Man, the Christ. I'm going through Tate's book next. I'm 80% of the way through the Donald Trump Messiah book currently. But yeah, then we're hitting Tate's. So he's a human trafficker. Let me step back. Let's listen to the context on this again.
Are more programmable, and that they're trying to make out that I'm making out that men are out here trying to get women and fucking do bad things to them. No, what I'm saying is, if you find a woman who's younger and been through less things, less trauma, less relationships, less headache, she's lived less life, your ideals, if you ask any woman who loves her man, what's your favorite song? His favorite song. Who do you vote for? Who he votes for. What's your favorite car? His car. That's how it happens when a woman loves a man. And that makes the man feel good, right? If she's been through too much shit, then that's a lot harder to pull off.
I don't really know what he's talking about here. It feels like he's saying that women should just center their entire lives around their man and do everything that he wants to do and live their entire lives through him as their filter. I mean, that's what he said earlier, but this is insane.
So that link is very important for men and women. But so yeah, the Matrix attacked me with that. But it's very, very interesting. You have to understand all these small sub-dynamics.
Like, if he doesn't want to be attacked for this, maybe he shouldn't be a literal human trafficker. Did he ever knock that one around the old noggin? Like, this guy is so completely unaware of everything happening around him. He's like the least socially aware person I've ever seen in my life. And it is so deeply cringy, some of the stuff that he says. But, oh my God, dude, I am here for it. It is so entertaining to listen to him embarrass the hell out of himself without even realizing. Like, everything he says is embarrassing to him. That's all I've got for you. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, check me out on Patreon. And let me know if you want to see more stuff like this in the comments. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.